Poor guy, that's why we cannot underestimate other people regardless whoever they are.
Now, that poor guy can also share his embarrassing experience with us.
You're right, Eric. And he can start the story by saying, "A really funny thing happened to me the other day."
That's right. Speaking of which, Tati also has a funny and embarrassing story to share.
Let's hear Tanti, shall we?
I've got my embarrassing story too. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. Were you on a date too?
No, you'll never guess what happened to me 2 days ago. Listen to this, right? I was in a fancy hotel going to see a cousin.
Fancy hotel? Which hotel?
The fancy hotel which is in front of Grand Indonesia.
Oh, that's fancy. What? Did the hotel security throw you out of the hotel because you were not properly dressed?
No, as a matter of fact, I was pretty much dressed up. So there was I entering this hotel in my best dress. My cousin was staying on the 5th floor, so I used the elevator. I was in there for almost 5 minutes when I realized that the elevator wasn't moving.
Really?
Yeah, so I pressed the open button and while confidently approaching a security guard, I told her that there is something wrong with the elevator. It didn't move. Then the security guard said, "Let's check, miss."
What's so funny about that?
Here comes the funny part. I confidently asked her to go inside the elevator with me just to prove that I was right. And so that I was with a security guard inside the elevator. After the elevator door shut, I waited for 1 minute. I told her, "See, it's not moving."
Well, what happened next?
Then the security guard smiled and pointed out the number buttons on the elevator. And then said, "Miss, you forgot to press the number. What floor are you going to?"
What? That was totally embarrassing.
I know. What worse was the security guard stayed with me all the way to the 5th floor. Can you believe it?
I can't imagine how Tati must have felt afterwards. There are many ways to introduce your funny or embarrassing story that's happened to you. To a friend, you can introduce it like this.
I've got my embarrassing story too. Do you want to hear it?
Or like this.
You'll never guess what happened to me.
After the introduction, you can tell the content of the story by using simple past tense. You can start telling the story by saying,
I was in a fancy hotel going to see a cousin.
as I said earlier, that the content of the story is about the information of where you were when the incident happened, when it happened, what you were doing at the time, and how it happened. Sometimes it takes a while to tell your friends that information before getting to the funny part. When your friends ask you this question,
What's so funny about that?
it means your friends are getting impatient with your story. Therefore, you need to say the magic words.
Here comes the funny part.
Normally, after hearing your embarrassing part, your friend will laugh at your story and comment on it.
What? That was totally embarrassing.
The expression that is usually used is, "That was totally embarrassing." At the end of the story, you will also give comment on your own story by saying, "I know, can you believe it?" This shows that she's really surprised about what happened. To recap, if you want to tell a friend about something funny or embarrassing that's happened to you, you can introduce it like this.
I've got my embarrassing story too. Do you want to hear it? You'll never guess what happened to me 2 days ago.
Your story will consist of where you were when the incident happened, when it happened, what you were doing at the time, and how it happened. You end the story by adding a comment like,
I know. What worse was the security guard stayed with me all the way to the 5th floor. Can you believe it?
"I know, can you believe it?" That was our recap. It's game time with Olive.
Thanks, Eric. On our next games, you will listen to someone telling you his or her story. You will need to guess the proper expression for each story. Here it goes. Which of these following expressions illustrate the situation the best? You're right. The answer is something unexpected happens. Here comes another situation. Can you guess the proper expression for that situation? Absolutely correct! The proper expression is, "That was totally embarrassing." Here's the last one. Which of these expressions that shows an embarrassment emotion? Another brilliant answer! It's, can you believe it? That was really a great game, guys!
Expressing the right emotion is not really difficult, right? Time really flies fast when you're having such a good time.
Well, it's time for us to go. I'm Olive.
And I am Eric. Keep being active and stay positive. See you next time.
모든 걸 내 기준에 맞춰 열을 맞추길 바라는 너는 정말 한심 그건 지나친 욕심 내